Laurie Huston's News for the Heart is dedicated to helping you give a voice to your own soul. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggles that keep us from awakening to our true essence. Join Laurie now as we delve into our heart and soul to find the path that will open us to the possibilities and lead us to the life we love to live.
Good afternoon. This is News for the Heart. We have a special show today. We are with right now Justin McMakin. And I keep saying it wrong.
McMakin it happen. Just remember that. He's McMakin it happen.
McMakin it happen. And later on in the show, Daniel Bax will join us, and we will talk about ACTnow.to. But right now we're gonna talk to Justin and his story and where things have come from. But why don't we start with where you are right now?
I'm having fun right now, and I'm laughing.
Yeah, I think we should have some bottle of wine or something.
Yeah, I think so. Let's just chillax here and have fun. So I guess if I share some of my story, it could touch, move, and inspire people, and get them in the heart, and let them know that it doesn't matter where they are now or where they were, that they have completely every possibility available to them. Right. Right now, I'm a vision facilitator and a creation director. So what does that mean? As a vision facilitator, I work with people to help them clearly express and share their dreams. And I believe that once you can clearly express and share your dreams, that you can manifest them. You can call them into existence. Although some people still have a battle with belief and self-confidence and connection to source, that everything is energy and that your thoughts are actually the most powerful thing in the universe. It's what your thoughts and emotions combined with a steady focus and consistency will draw, like gravity, whatever the universe has to offer to make those dreams a reality. And right now I'm currently building a company called Endless Potential with my business partner Daniel Bax, author of The Life of Your Choice, and you just had him on the show last week, or earlier this week. Yeah. And so I helped him do a vision discovery, and together we facilitated the vision for endless potential and wanting to help others unleash their endless potential. And the service we're providing to humanity is spirit, mind, and body rehabilitation and conditioning, and a niche focus on people that have had a traumatic injury or experience in their life that's challenging them. Daniel himself, he had the accident and was paralyzed on the left side of his body, had no memory, couldn't speak, really bad. Really bad. Died 4 times, I think, and heart attacks and seizures and coma, and it was awesome. Like, he really went all the way. Yeah. Like, he went about it. His head was almost totally severed. Yeah. I mean, that's about as far as you can go.
Really, as far as you could want to go, or much further than that, and that's crazy what he went through.
There is an easier way, everybody.
Much easier.
I took one of the halfway ones. So I'm doing good now. I've got like full mobility. I've got like full use of my arms and hands and everything. However, I do have well-healed, reconstructed elbow, and that was from a wee time ago. And I just want to get clear now. What I really want now is I want your viewers to leave believing or having a hint of faith that no matter where they are or where they were, they have the opportunity to create anything that they want and manifest anything they want. You just need to know what you want, clearly express and share that with others, the universe, and yourself, and then create it. And that's where my creation direction comes into play, because sometimes you still need a helping hand. But if you can clearly express and share your vision with somebody, and if they're a project manager or they are a creator of some sort, like myself, then we can actually direct you through the creation of it, and sometimes at light speed. And if you don't think, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough skill or talent, then that becomes part of the action plan that gets you from where you are now to where you are when it's accomplished. And I have people project their vision into the future at a time that they're there and it's completely achieved, but it's at a time that they believe is possible for that to be achieved.
Right.
Right? I might like push them and say, oh, what about a little bit sooner? But they push it and they, yeah, I guess if I moved a little bit quicker, I could get it done by then. So most people set their goals 18 months or 3 years out for creating a new business, for meeting the person of their dreams, for dropping 40, 50 pounds and transforming their body, to get over a major challenge like having a part of them paralyzed or whatnot. And that's where Daniel really assists as well. He's actually specifically a coach to overcome and unlock and unleash endless potential within somebody. And he knows how to tell them how to use the energy in their body and to communicate and state of mind and thought and consciousness and their way of being and their connection to spirit to heal themselves, or to attract the experts, professionals, and modalities that are meant there to heal them, alternative or traditional. We're not like screening anybody out. Sort of like a holistic, I don't know, connected to source approach to overcoming challenges. Now, I'm doing good now. We've got the business. We're working. We got a studio down here in the beaches. We're planning a big event on June 14th with St. Michael's Hospital, and I'm working on my first book. Daniel's working on his second book, I believe, working on a really exciting announcement that's going to affect and bring us across Canada and back across Canada again in the next year and a half. And I'm here on this great show.
Yay!
Yay! So, but it wasn't always like that, right?
Exactly.
I wasn't always like roses and everything. And for me, it started right out of the womb. Like, my dad was a hardcore alcoholic. He was sent to Vietnam when he was 17 years old, and he got sprayed by Agent Orange. And that's a chemical they used to kill the vegetation in the jungle so they could see the enemy, and that soaked into him. And a lot of those vets, they've got weird types of diabetes like he does, and their children had side effects. And my side effect, I was one of the earlier cases of Hirschsprung's, which means parts of my insides were paralyzed. And it took them almost 3 years, 9 surgeries, over 500 stitches worth of scar tissue to sort it out and get me into a state where I'd survive and live. That stunted my growth too by 3 years. So I was 3 years smaller and younger looking than everybody else my age. And then my father's alcoholism and bankruptcy really set things off. My mom had to leave with me for the safety of our lives, and we left Massachusetts in the States where I was born, and she came to Canada where she's from, here in Toronto. She had her parents and her family around to support, and she was now a single mother with a single child who was, just survived. She used to sleep under my crib in the hospital to make sure the nurse wouldn't accidentally kill me by giving me the wrong medication or stick the needles in me and make me bleed out internally. She's just a real strong, heart-filled woman. But she taught me such independence. I had to start cooking for myself when I was 6 because she was teaching day school and night school to meet the costs of paying for a home to live in Toronto, food, and everything a kid needs. By the time I was 7, I was making homemade Alfredo sauce from scratch, and that's a passion of mine now.
Nice.
Cooking.
Yes.
Love cooking, especially sauce. Makes everything better.
It does.
And
pesto and goat's milk or goat's cheese. Loved it.
Yeah, you had that, didn't you? So where did that bring me? So we moved also 14 times before I got to high school because my father was tracking us and trying to find us and kidnap me or take me back down to the States. I ended up getting a Canadian citizenship, so I'm a North American. I'm a dual Canadian and American citizen. Nice. For any of the American listeners there, And Canada's really cool to live in, though, even though we're a smaller population. Either way, I don't want to make any enemies.
Right.
I'm one with everyone, okay? And I believe we're all one on the planet anyways. We're all part of universal consciousness, and we're fractals of that, and we're all here to have unique perspectives to experience this multi-dimensional, three-dimensional plane. And I can bounce all over the place. Sorry about that. Getting back on track. So it didn't start off easy, and it didn't really get much easier. I used to get beat up by like 3 kids at a time. because I was the smallest kid in the school. But I was also around doctors and scientists for the first 3 years of my life, so I was a lot more advanced. Like, I was sharper than a lot of kids. I always had my hand up in class because I'd rather get my marks from doing the work while I was there in class instead of doing my homework or studying for tests. And I found that I was like a 98 in art, 98 in math. I started drawing when I was 6, and my mom put me in special art schools all the way through until college. And when I got there, my ego was starting to get pretty aggressive. I did do through my growth spurt. I caught up with everybody. I got to a normal size and whatnot. And when I got to college, I had to pay for school myself, so I had to start bartending at night. And then I went to full-time college during the day. And then my teacher said that we would only make like 18 grand a year when we graduated, and it'd take me 10 years to become a creative director in my advertising and design field. So I talked to my grandfather, the only entrepreneur in my life and only real breadwinner. My father's family were trailer park, really dirt poor trailer park. My family in Canada were working class poor, so they paying for their mortgages and their bills and keeping up with their credit cards. And I got this need to be like the first white collar in the family, or success. And I didn't like working for people. I worked for McDonald's and Burger King, and I didn't like taking orders from those little junior 16-year-old managers. And I saw that happening for the rest of my life. So I went out there, borrowed $5 grand from my grandfather, and started my own ad agency, and I made myself a creative director at the age of 19. And I used my school projects, were actually client projects. I had a few different students working for me. By the time I graduated, I was a creative director for 3 years. I got in, I did an interview to be a creative director for a company, and I convinced them to contract my company instead of me.
Wow.
And I got
I
got enough space for 6 staff in a corporate building right by the Don Valley Parkway. And they were my primary contract, covered all my bread and butter, and then I still had the ability to go out and get other clients and whatnot. But through them, I worked for McCain's, Hershey's, Sobeys Canada. I got a contract to do the Canadian spacecraft, the Arrow, the private spacecraft, work for them. And but ego really got out of control. And I had a 4-bedroom place. I had leather furniture, the big screen TV, a huge debt masting, and whatnot. And it was time for me to wake up. I considered myself passionate, and I was an achiever, and I was driven, and I knew how to manifest, but I didn't really understand. It was more like, know what I want, have an intense emotional desire and thoughts of what I want, fantasizing about it, and taking action. And like, not being attached to the outcome, but just knowing that's what I wanted, and I was driven through it. Every day I wake up, I would drive for that. I'd be there 14, 16 hours a day between those 3 sort of commitments. And then the world had to, and universe had to say, Justin, you got to wake up. And so I caused a few things. The first thing I caused was an accident. I was an intense mountain biker as well, and I did off-roading and stuff. The year before my big accident, I was leading my team down a hill going 70 an hour, and I hit another biker, flew off, dislocated a rib, and scraped up my arms and my chin. That wasn't enough. So the next year we were riding around downtown, and we were racing down the stairs in front of the Sky Dome. And I lost control of my bike on the first plateau, and I started flying 4 stories in the air down to cement. And the kind of bike I was riding, carbon fiber bike, it would have exploded when I hit, and it could have like shrapnel, and all of a sudden it was all slow motion, like really slow. And I saw my family jewels getting shredded by my bike. So I tossed my bike, and now I've got no bike, and I'm just like this going down 4 stories into cement. And again, slow as everything, could see everything, and I saw my face was going to go right into the cement, so I moved my elbow up to stop that, and I went through it made first impact, made my elbow joint explode, and my head still hit, pushed my sunglasses into my forehead until right down to the skull, and it gave me an absolute concussion, and like really severe concussion and memory loss. I didn't even know my name. I didn't know anything. I was still conscious. My arm was massive at this point. Everything had been toast. They got me to the hospital. Luckily, somebody was there with the best joint surgeons in the city, because somebody was getting a cosmetic elbow, like improved upon a senior or something, and they worked on it. And luckily, when my mom found me in the hospital and she said my name, I was like, that's who I am. Cool. Wow. Now, the thing is, back then, they didn't point out the problem with the concussion. They were focused on me having an elbow again.
Right.
They said, the doctor said, we rebuilt your elbow, we've reconnected the nerves, we've reconnected the tendons, we took what we could of the bone left, used metal and bars and this, and rebuilt an elbow, but your left arm's paralyzed. And after maybe 2 years of intense physiotherapy, you may get about 60% use of your hand and your arm again. Because my brain had no connection to my fingers, and I couldn't even make my finger move at all.
Wow.
And also it totally leveled me. So all that ego in me, I now did not trust my ego. I did not trust my own decision-making capabilities, right? And it kind of woke me up to that there's got to be more. And so that broke me in terms of taking physical risks. And I said, there's nothing to fear on the planet. It's all false evidence appearing real, unless it's going to physically kill me or somebody around me, or like really hurt somebody. So that's what I asked myself before I take stuff on now. But then again, I still had the money thing, and I still had the ad agency thing, and I still had all that stuff to go through. So I caused more. I had to hit rock bottom. Apparently, it wasn't enough for me to learn from that. But after overcoming that, after 30-day checkup, I went back, and thanks to my mom doing Reiki energy healing, and because my ego had been knocked out for a little while, I guess you could say, I was open to it. I believed it. Spent a lot of time with my golden retriever, and when I was using my computer, I was typing. I self-taught myself how to make websites while I was in recovery, because I couldn't be at the ad agency. My mom had to help give me a bath because I couldn't even get my left arm wet. It was very humiliating. But Spirit told me to move my left arm and position my hand on the keyboard, and to pretend I was typing with it. And you know, eventually I was able to actually start moving one of my fingers like I was typing.
Wow.
And I think that after about a month, I went back for my checkup. My doctor that treated me and was there for the surgery did a mobility test on me, and he went ghost white.
Wow.
And he left, because this guy said, you'll be lucky if you get 60% use of your arm back again.
After 2 years.
After 2 years.
We're talking 30 days.
Of intense traditional therapy. Yeah. He brought a doctor I'd never seen before in, had me do the exact same test with that guy, and the guy said, that is extraordinary results for a year recovery. Right? You've got 95% recovery.
Nice.
And your arm was paralyzed a month ago. And it was visualization. It was pretending to use it. It was believing that the energy healing that my mother was doing with the Reiki, where I do believe we're all energy and we can draw basically energy from anything from the universe, white love, pure light energy, and it'll come and do for the highest and greatest good. And if you really believe it and you have the emotions that like connect with that, then I do believe anything is pretty much impossible, because I rerouted my nervous system, I regrew some of the nerves, I did what I had to with the other side of my brain to make my left arm operate again. Within 90 days, I was doing team push-ups, you know, where the guy in front of me, his feet were on my shoulders and my feet were on the guy behind me, and we were going like that. And it made me believe in anything is possible. But still, I had this ego's connection to toys and big screen TVs and leather furniture and blowing money at the bar and dating lots of girls and just no respect for money. So I caused a really difficult bankruptcy. To get to the bankruptcy, I attempted to restructure and refinance my ad agency and the money I had spent, and I got actually conned and extorted by the Tamil Tigers.
Oh.
Yeah, the 80% of the money that they make in North America to send back to their buddies and their or whatnot in other countries is through extortion and fraud, and they do identity theft, and they con you into thinking they're a loan broker.
Right.
And then they get your copies of your ID and your signature, and you know, I got maybe 20 pieces of cards in the mail sent to me, and they said that, oh, it was part of rebuilding my credit, the loan broker said, and then all of a sudden a van shows up. And these guys come out and they say, oh, we're taking you to see the loan broker. Get all your cards, get all your paperwork. And I was like, This is really weird. But I was so desperate to get out of the situation and avoid the bankruptcy, and I was so distorted by what was going on that I went with them, and they basically made me go around and buy stuff with all of my credit cards, and then they took all the stuff. And then when they maxed out all of my credit and they got all that they could with me, they dumped me off, and they said, if you go to the cops or tell anybody, we'll chop your feet off. So then I had that, so that got me really close. And then to push me over the edge, I had a CRV, a car still, and my dad calls me and he says, I got caught for drinking and driving. It was in the city newspaper, a small town in the States, and the nonprofit that I've been doing the accounting for had to fire me. I've been living week to week at a week-to-week rental. I'm going to be homeless in 3 days. Can you help me? And I said, Dad, let me sell my car. I'll send you what I can. And I did. I sold it. I sent him $3,000, and I said, this will get you back on your feet till you get a new job, I hope. And he ended up taking that to Boston with an old Vietnam buddy and ODing on drugs and alcohol with the money I sent him. And I was like, that was another, like, bam. So like I said, if you think your life is hard right now and that's an excuse for not doing or creating, reality check, it's not that bad. You can overcome anything. And then
we do have to go to break. Let's do that. We'll come back and finish that thought.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go to break. You are listening to News for the Heart. I have Justin McMakin here, and shortly we'll have Daniel Bax with us, and we'll talk about the stuff that you're doing, which is ACTnow.to and
potential.to.
Yes. All right, so we'll be back from break in just a few seconds.
Hi, I'm Laurie Huston, and I have a great show on BMajor.org called News for the Heart. I'm an intuitive counselor, coach, and teacher with professional qualifications and certifications, as well as natural, clairsentient, and claircognizant abilities. I've been on my spiritual path for over 20 years, and during that time have acquired through extensive studies, teachings, and sacred texts over 30 different healing modalities, which are continuously being added to as life is an ongoing journey. My passion is on relationships, limiting beliefs, energy that is blocking you, and awakening consciousness as we become more heart-centered. You can find out more about me at my website, intuitivesoul.com, or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685. And I'd be honored to connect with you. Let's get to the heart of what matters. Do you want to become more empowered, connected with your core, guided by your heart and soul's purpose, be more balanced and have more mindfulness? Are you searching for the answers, wanting to understand your relationships better, why your intimate relationships, friends, family, and even work colleagues can impact your quality of life? How your relationships interfere with your business, career opportunities, and even starting your own business? I'm Laurie Huston. I have a free weekly advice column with BMajor.org called Heart Lessons. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggle that keep us from awakening to our true essence. You can send me your questions, or for more personal guidance, contact me at intuitivesoul.com or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685. And let's get to the heart of what matters to see your heart lessons.
Want to know where you can hear Laurie Huston's News for the Heart? Well, that's easy. You can tune in to Laurie via Clear Channel's iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, and at bmajor.org. Now, back to Laurie Huston and News from the Heart.
And welcome back. This is News for the Heart, and we're getting to the heart of what matters. We've been talking with Justin McMakin, and we're going to continue on with your story before we bring Daniel back to or Daniel into our interview, just so that we get a clear picture of where you are and why you, because this is really your baby that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, it was caused and it came into existence about 2 months ago. Well, where was I? I was extorted by the Tamil Tigers, had threatened to have my feet chopped off, and then my golden retriever, my good friend, offered to give him a walk, and next door he didn't realize there were 2 pit bulls, and their door was open. All of a sudden they came out and they both attacked him, and luckily, it sounded like a child screaming in agony. Luckily, we were able to pull the dogs off him, but he couldn't walk for a while. They bit through both of his front legs that he was blocking his neck.
And this was the dog that was assisting you to...
Yes, Noshka, and which stood for peaceful God. And then I found out later in Russian it meant a feminine leg. But that's what you get for not speaking every language on the planet, right? Yeah, and that was pretty brutal. At that point, after that happened, and my dad OD'd, all that stuff, and my car was sold, I had 30 creditors after me. The phone was ringing, lawsuits from collections agencies being threatened, and I was literally naked, fetal position, bawling my eyes out, sobbing in the middle of my living room, and for like I don't even know how long. And then first time I surrendered. And the first time I truly prayed, and I said, it's too hard the way I've been attempting to force life. And I just started listening to my voice inside, which I thought is like, some people call it God, universe, higher self, whatever it is. That higher self positive voice said, you know, get up, you're going to be okay. And then I stood up. And then the voice, the sort of ego in there, or the false evidence appearing real, and the weakness said, just pack a bag. Just head out on the road. Leave it all behind. Just run away. Just escape. Leave a note for your mom so she knows you're going to go backpack across Canada, and just be a drifter with no responsibilities, and forget the money, and what you own owns you, and stuff like that. But just disappear. And then the higher self came in and it said, that's not what you want. Look up. And I looked up at a shelf on the wall, bookshelf, and there was a binder there, and it started glowing.
Wow.
And I walked over to it, I took it off the wall, and it was called RSVP Live, which was, I was a public speaker in my 20s as well, like during and before all that stuff happening, and I was too lazy to manage emails or phone calls to RSVP people, and they didn't have the online RSVP event booking systems yet.
Right.
So I had one of the programmers on my ad agency make one that me, a non-programmer artist, could just click and make an online form and RSVP people for events. Well, it was that, and then I heard the voice say, use your experience, your talent, your gifts, with light and energy, serve millions. And I was like, well, this is the internet, which is light and energy.
Right.
And based on my experience, I could make this software into a website builder. And that gave me inspiration. Now, remember, I'm also 3 days from homeless. So I'm like, how am I going to do that? And I don't know how to program that level of software. Okay, first off, wow, I need to keep this place. So I got online, and Craigslist was around back then, and I posted 3 furnished rooms for rent. And I rented them within 2 days.
Wow.
And because they were furnished, I charged more than any sane person would pay for one of those rooms. And I had enough to pay my $1,000+ people a year do it. There's insurance covering it all, and it does not hurt the economy, and it gives you a fresh start, and you don't need your credit card. You can get a pay-as-you-go credit card. Anyways, I've got to get that out there. Part of a huge, silly game. So you're not hurting anybody but yourself. Go for it, and you have a chance to rebuild and start fresh. It's like a phoenix opportunity, you know, a phoenix, and that's what I think I had there. Not only did I rent the rooms, and I had that, then I put together an offering memorandum, which I researched, and I had learned from a prior project helping a company raise money to go public. And I raised $50,000 over the next 3 months to build that software to make instant websites and be a passive residual income business. So it would be there using light and energy, serving millions. The software could do it, and it would assist me in not being concerned with money anymore, so I could do what I want to do, which is get my book published, start to inspire other people by the fact that just know what you want, clearly express and share your vision, take action, and don't be attached to the outcome, and have a consistent flow of broadcasting of positive thoughts and positive intense emotions of what you want. And every time fear comes along, just think, it's false evidence appearing real. Will this physically kill me or anybody around me? No? Okay, no? Okay, there's no fear. Charge on. And anyway, so to bring me up to where I am today, because I know I'm a talker here, and we probably got like 30 seconds left.
Yeah, we get a little bit more.
Basically, I got that software going. I've got that up and running, empowering 30-minute websites. I also realized that I can use that to create subscription membership websites for other people, and I've been doing that for other people. And then I started something called the Full Media Center. I even attempted with no fear. I did lose a bundle, and it's a challenge. It was like a learning lesson. I attempted to create my first franchise called the Full Media Center. Did television, radio, internet, print, and software production for small businesses in one roof. And that kind of flopped because my business partner at that time walked, and that led me to meeting Daniel, because I was like, you know what, I just want to help somebody else build their business if it's something that touches, moves, and inspires me. And Daniel's story definitely moved and inspired me, and we had so much in common with me recovering through alternative energy and thinking and getting my left paralyzed arm back into function, and we both were like brothers. We're a year apart in age. When I met him, I was quite a bit chubbier and not doing any exercise because of my scars. I thought, well, why ever bother trying to get a six-pack? There's so many scars, you can't even see the muscles or anything like that. But since being with him, we've started Endless Potential to help do spirit, mind, and body rehabilitation and conditioning for people, coaching them through it. We're building a membership site for them to have a membership and a rehabilitation journal, give them videos and audios and all this wisdom of what we've learned to help them overcome things that people like doctors have said are impossible. No, I am possible. And about in March, I started the Self-Expression Leadership Program at Landmark. And I believe it's like university for inner landscaping. And I think that personal development and the solutions for the world are all existing within us, in our heart. And if we get in sync with our heart and our gut and our mind, that we will connect our spirit, mind, and body, and then move to an entire awakened level of existence on this planet, and work and realize we're all one. And there's no point in being competitive or egoist or threatened by anybody or everything. And if we're all just focused on creating and being procreative, like procreation, old religion beliefs, well, maybe it doesn't mean just having kids. Maybe it's being pro-creative, creating things proactively. And that's driving me now. Now, the assignment we got in that Self-Expression Leadership Program, SELP, for the 2.2 million people that have done Landmark out there, we had to do a community project as the vehicle for us to learn the lessons of the course, to be stronger leaders and communicators.
Right.
And it means inspiring a community to work and support and help another community, and to be able to step away from the project afterwards, and it keeps going without you.
Right.
So that's where I'm getting close. And my project was, I was like, Daniel had traumatic brain injury. I had a traumatic brain injury when I lost my memory, and like everybody thought my elbow. No, I get waves of depression in the best of days because of that head injury. I don't get suicidal, but definitely waves of depression and anxiety and concern that like because I might not have enough money, or because I might not have enough people or love, or whatever. I'm going to be alone and die alone, and who's going to take care of me when I'm soiling myself when I hit 90 years old? Like weird concerns and out of control. So he inspired it. It really came together, and I created what's called ACT, Awaken Canada Together.
Back on that when we come back from our next break.
Okay.
All right, so you are listening to News for the Heart. We're getting to the heart of what matters. We've been talking with Justin McMakin, and Daniel Bax will be with us when we come back for break, and we will talk all about ACTnow.to.
Hi, I'm Laurie Huston, and I have a great show on bmajor.org called News for the Heart. I'm an intuitive counselor, coach, and teacher with professional qualifications and certifications, as well as natural, clairsentient, and claircognizant abilities. I've been on my spiritual path for over 20 years, and during that time have acquired, through extensive studies, teachings, and sacred texts, over 30 different healing modalities, which are continuously being added to, as life is an ongoing journey. My passion is on relationships, limiting beliefs, energy that is blocking you, and awakening consciousness as we become more heart-centered. You can find out more about me at my website, intuitivesoul.com, or call me at my toll-free number, 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685, and I'd be honored to connect with you. Let's get to the heart of what matters. Do you want to become more empowered, connected with your core, guided by your heart and soul's purpose, be more balanced and have more mindfulness? Are you searching for the answers, wanting to understand your relationships better, why your intimate relationships, friends, family, and even work colleagues can impact your quality of life? How your relationships interfere with your business, career opportunities, and even starting your own business? I'm Laurie Huston. I have a free weekly advice column with BMajor.org called Heart Lessons. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggle that keep us from awakening to our true essence. You can send me your questions, or for more personal guidance, contact me at intuitivesoul.com or call me at my toll-free number 1-855-444-SOUL. That's 1-855-444-7685. And let's get to the heart of what matters to see your heart lessons.
Want to know where you can hear Laurie Huston's News for the Heart? Well, that's easy. You can tune in to Laurie via Clear Channel's iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, and at bmajor.org. Now, back to Laurie Huston and News from the Heart.
And welcome back. This is News for the Heart. We are getting to the heart of what matters. We're going to talk now. Well, Daniel Bax has joined us, so we now have our threesome. And we're going to talk about ACTnow.to.
Yeah. Well, that's the domain name.
Right.
But the actual cause is called ACT.
Right.
Awaken Canada Together.
That's going to get fun.
So, yeah, as I was saying, I was at Landmark, and we had to create a community project, and had that possibility. And I thought, you know what, why not tie the community project into the business we're doing, which serves traumatic brain injury victims and other traumatized people. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's not too hard to get Daniel to say yes to things. He's a bit of a yes man. So
yes, Massa.
Yes. And I said, dude, this is the idea. Let's do an event. Let's team up with St. Michael's Hospital, who I already had a relationship with, and let's do some kind of event and create some kind of movement that creates awareness, education, and supports research for traumatic brain injury. And the whole idea is that if you knew that your child could be killed, and by the way, the biggest killer of youth in the planet is traumatic brain injuries. Even if you add up all the other causes of youth death, and this is something that just people don't know.
And that's for youth, for people just under 20.
Yeah.
20 and under.
Biggest killer.
Yeah, the biggest. Like combining all other injuries, I think it's something like 40% larger than all the other injuries combined, or something like that. It was some astronomical number. It
costs our country an incredible amount, billions of dollars of costs to take care of people that have survived traumatic brain injury, but are no longer cognitive or can't take care of themselves
fully functional
anymore.
on their own.
Yeah.
Like I know that myself. When the one step-down rehabilitation clinic I was in was actually I had to go live on my own. I had that therapist come into my space to make sure I was cooking my food, not blowing my place up, that I actually showered and cleaned myself, and then I actually knew how to get out of my space, go shopping, and get back to my house without getting lost.
Yeah. And that's why I said, like, Daniel went really all the way with the life lessons, right, compared to me.
We hope that most people don't have to go quite that far, but
let me lead by example of what not to do. At the same time, let me be a stand for what you can do because of what I've done.
Well,
so you don't need to do it yourself.
and it's those kind of inspiring words and that connection to wisdom that really is coming from the heart. It's coming from the spirit. It's coming from universal wisdom when Daniel talks, and or Daniel speaks, and Daniel and I connected in December 2013, just about 6-7 months ago. Mm-hmm. He was working with Daniel Bax Speaks, and he's been doing some public speaking and some one-on-one coaching, and together we founded and created Endless Potential. And now we're looking at being able to support tens of thousands of people simultaneously with tools like Google Hangouts and broadcasting and putting videos online and audio recordings and downloads and creating a network. That's the part that really got interesting. Creating a network, a searchable network that people that require alternative or essential services for rehabilitation can find them without going through all the clutter that's online, and ones that have almost been pre-screened by us because we've made sure that they are working with authenticity and honesty and really the higher level thinking.
Well, that's one thing that I shared with you, and that's one of the biggest passions I had. And if I was going to create any kind of database or network for people to connect to, I wanted to be certain that they were of integrity and knowledgeable at what they're doing, like knowledgeable by action, not by theoretical jargon. Because I had several different therapists and even case managers in my case, where, pun intended, where there was like, it was a complete, easiest way to say it is a waste of my insurance money and my money to even have them. It's like, why? And so many people get caught up with these people. So now the goal is to connect with the vibrant source of powerful people that understand, know what they do, and have a proven track record that they are there to serve others and to empower us, and ultimately people that connect with them and be served by them, whether it be physiotherapists, speech language pathologists, your case manager, nutritionist, your
homeopath,
it's whatever it may be,
psychologist
in that game, whatever person in that game, so that you know that you're being served by the higher and the greatest of them all.
Yeah. So
that ultimately, when you connect with our database, you're going to the game.
So it's going to take a lot of work to build that database, and that's for Endless Potential, and creating this subscription membership website that gives this private community the ability to tap into all the resources they need for overcoming incredible challenges, to turn the impossible into I am possible, which is one of my favorite lines that we've been sharing, and so that's the business side of things. But back to the cause and ACT, Awaken Canada Together. Well, we want to cross Canada. We're doing an event at June 14th at St. Michael's Hospital. And the whole goal here is to share awareness and education with the world about traumatic brain injury so we can prevent accidents from happening, at least reduce the number. There is one brain injury formally registered every 10 minutes in Canada.
It's crazy.
Right? In the next
sorry to interrupt, but it's not just to reduce the amount of accidents. The people that have been through injuries, to show them the healing energy elements that can help allow them to regain and re-heal themselves. Because whether you've had, or not re-heal themselves, but heal themselves, whether you've had a broken leg, a broken neck, or a damaged brain, it's something that can be healed. It's a way of thinking, it's thought, it's also nutrition and nutrients and everything behind it. So a broken leg or a busted brain, it's all things that can be healed with time and the proper nutrients and the proper ways of training. And just introduce that to people, because most people, when they think that they have had head injury, they think they're stuck with it for the rest of their life.
Yeah, and you know what? They may be stuck with elements of it. I don't know anybody, including myself, that has had a head injury that's the same as they were before the head injury. When I was at the Heads Up conference, I did the media and the video, and I got to sit there through 4 hours of lectures from researchers and scientists at St. Michael's Hospital, and they showed a snow globe settled, and they said, imagine this is your brain, and then you have a traumatic head injury, and they shook it, and then you see all the snowflakes go and then settle, and you don't know where they're going to settle. Well, they said that's kind of how the human brain is too. So it's not that wires and nerves get messed up, but your thought processes and the way things are set in your head can just get scrambled up and settle anywhere, and it takes a while for them to find their path again.
You may not be exactly the same as you mentioned before. You may not be the exact same person, but you don't need to endure all the trauma or side effects or challenges that come towards you through it. You can minimize those. And yeah, there's certain things, certain tweaks. Maybe personality might change, but that doesn't mean that you have to endure all the pain and challenges that come with the initial impact of it.
Well, another thing that I want ACT to offer the opportunity to is for people to share their stories. And not many people are out there like Daniel or myself that are willing to be transparent and vulnerable and share the situation that, yes, I do suffer from depression. I'm afraid that I might have been afraid that other people would, maybe a person wouldn't want to get into a relationship with me because, oh, this person's, they're broken. or something. Or some people that might have a part of their body paralyzed or can't have sex anymore or something like that, but not want to talk about it. But if they're able to talk about it, and especially when we start our empowerment group, right? It's not going to be a sewing circle for people to sob about their blues like a lot of these traditional sort of places to go for people that have had traumatic experiences. This is a place where we're going to share the positive wins, even if you were just able to move your finger for the first time, or you remembered a person's name after not seeing them for a week. Whatever it is, that we're sharing positive wins.
So we can be a stand for each of us. We can be a stand for each other. Because oftentimes when you go through a trauma or a challenge, you feel very alone, and the only other person that really can kind of get what you're going through is, say, somebody else is doing during a challenge. And oftentimes it's one person complaining or fussing over something that they're not getting, and the other person, you think you got that bad? Well then. And that just goes into like a whole disturbing low frequency conversations. But this here is all about what you can do, whom you can become, and ultimately how can we support you, because we're all the same person, we're all the same energy. We're just vibrating at a different frequency. And if I've learned something, or I could be a supporter or a stand for you and your growth and your power, empowering you, you're going to stand at a greater space and see greater possibilities of what you can do, because we're all resonating at a very similar frequency, and we're a stand for each other.
I mean, one of the beliefs I have is that what you think about, what you talk about, what you speak about will grow, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. So let's keep it to the good. And yes, recognize the bad or the challenges, but that's so that we can take action and ask, again, visualize and clearly express and share what we want. I want my left arm to move again. I want to be able to type on my computer again to make websites and do graphics again. I want this, I want that. Great. Now that you know what you want, you can anchor that want and then put the passion and the intense emotions behind it and draw whatever the universe has to make that a possibility.
The wild part, the final key that takes your whole picture, which is beautiful, and puts it all together, is, as Bob Proctor says, desire it, have passion for it, want it, then take action.
Yes.
And that's one of the big things about our online program, is a big support group and how we connect and communicate with each other. We're all here to support each other. So in taking action, I can empower you, you can empower me, we can be an energy source for each other. Even if you don't see or meet each other well online, you can do just about anything now. But even knowing that somebody's there to stand for you, that just gives you that much more power to take action. And the great thing is, with all the different modalities and connections we have, if you don't know the way, or I don't know the way, Laurie, you don't know the way, somebody that we know.
Oh, no, I'll know the way.
I'll give you a GPS, girl. I'll even tell you where to go. but we know of somebody that can assist you, because the database and network is exponential, every person we connect with.
Someday we'll have another discussion about your theories, Justin, around what you think and believe and stuff, because I have a different twist on that. But
love to have a conversation.
Yeah, well, I think it would be an interesting one, for sure.
Should I bring the helmets?
Maybe. I don't think so, though. I think we'll eventually get to the same place.
Well, I'm not sure how much time we have left.
We've got quite a bit.
Quite a bit of time?
Well, we got 10 minutes. Maybe.
Well, because what I wanted to say is, I just thought a breakthrough. This event on June 14th, it's really about launching some really big news that's going to affect all of Canada. We're going to be awakening Canada together, man. And
huge.
For a guy that was like half of his body was paralyzed, and another guy with a half arm paralyzed, and to announce what we're going to be doing to draw awareness and education to everybody in Canada about traumatic brain injury. And it's going to be an incredible event. And I was wondering if there's the possibility maybe your show could be there and broadcast the live event, so people from the States, anywhere in the world, could chime in and watch this.
And watch the program and be present with us at the event.
I'm there. Sure, let's do it.
So, and the great part is, even when it comes to our Q&A and at the end when they're asking our experts, if people happen to be posing some questions online, and we can get those questions from you and we can address them also.
That would be really, really cool.
And we can address
the technology exists
from anywhere in the world that's online.
So what that day is going to look like, it is a long day from 12 noon till 4 p.m. And when you're getting the kind of information and stuff like that, it could intimidate some people. So I want to break it up into nice, easy bites. Okay. The first half of the day from noon until about 1:45 is going to be inspiration.
Nice.
We're going to be sharing our inspirational stories of rehabilitation and recovery, and touch, move, and inspire people to believe that anything is possible. And then the second part of the day, and we're also going to have some incredible experts and professionals that were specialize in the modalities that we've used that go a little bit beyond the traditional medical industry.
So they can give you some insight and some wisdom as to how to connect with it, who to connect with, and ultimately how they can benefit you.
Yeah. And then in part 2 of the day, between 2 p.m. and 3:45, we're going to have actual medical doctors from St. Michael's Hospital and a panel of experts there. We're going to have a few other patient stories of incident being at the hospital and whatnot. Because traditional hospitals, traditional doctors are totally needed. I wouldn't have my elbow back again if they couldn't have
I wouldn't have my head back
that
on my neck.
and whatnot. So we're saying it's all necessary, and we want to, for the first time, like really fit them together for a unified cause to prevent children from dying from head injuries, prevent hockey players and athletes from getting damaged just because of sport and money, to maybe bring some awareness to people's consciousness and awakenedness towards their driving, because another one is the car accidents that cause these injuries and stuff, right?
It's just exponential, and not only that, just with the head injury, so often many people have many other physical injuries upon their body, like such as car accidents. Oftentimes the seatbelt, because where it goes across your body, it explodes your bladder and your spleen, and you end up with internal damage. Or people that have fall down, they crack their head, well, they fractured their skull or smashed their face, broke their jaw, whatever. However it is, there's all kinds of different physical ailments very often related to this. So in that, we're going to bring in the modalities and show people, because once again, the medical industry is there for its purpose, and it serves that purpose, such as replacing the arm, fixing a kidney, patching up a neck, whatever. But the energy modalities are there to help you heal and become well again. And I'd love to just build the bond between the two of them, so we can each support each other and empower one going through something, so they're not so afraid of, say, having knee surgery, because they know that they're going to walk away from it in well shape, not just have aches and pains for the rest of life, but they're actually able to walk away healed and fully complete and better than they were prior to the surgery.
I mean, big picture here, big dream, the ultimate victory and win for everybody is that we actually inspire a whole new and shed light and discover a whole new paradigm for overcoming challenges physically, mentally, emotionally, through tapping into our spirit, our mind, and our body to get them in sync, to basically use energy, vibration, and our higher selves to overcome these things. And that paradigm makes the old paradigm that I can't, I won't, I just need a pill, I don't have the ability to heal myself, I need a doctor to heal me, to make that paradigm obsolete.
Which goes right into what you and I spoke about before. It's like creating a new way of being that makes the old way of being obsolete. And it's not so much just shunning it and shutting it down, but it's showing people that there's a new way of doing things, a new way of healing. Not so much a new way. It's been around, but we've been closed off to it because of the obvious elements that are out there right now, or people or programs. But they show people tapping into the ancient energies and the knowledge and the wisdoms of the healing elements, that there's no reason for us to be in pain. There's no reason for us to be depressed, to be sore, or to have something we are afraid to get surgery of because it's going to hurt us the rest of our life if we get the surgery. Get the surgery and heal. Step up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we have obviously certain things that the medical tradition does assist us with, and then there's certain things that they can't. I mean, their thing is about fixing what's wrong right now, not with what caused it, but like
what are the symptoms, and how can we neutralize the symptoms so that the person in front of us isn't complaining about their pain or their problem. And this comes down to another major thing, it's the actual mindset and the conditioning and the programming of those in the medical industry that are serving there. They are there because they want to help people. They take oaths to save people's lives. And there was actually something on the radio yesterday on CBC, a 10-year-old girl pleading to stop chemo. She would rather die. And she knows, she said, she heard Jesus came to her in the room and said, "You are healed, you will be fine, and there's nothing to fear even if you do die." And she begged to avoid those traditional treatments, and luckily she was Native as well, so they were able to play the card where because social services were going to take her away from her family and people and force the chemo upon her. And then luckily they woke up and they came from a more awakened approach that no, they've got their traditional remedies in their culture, and they're going to apply those instead. Well, that mindset of being open to letting them do that, not forcing the old paradigms upon people, I think that's where we need to start. To say that, and Dr. Cusimano at St. Michael's Hospital, who's supporting ACT, and he's on board, and we're going to be releasing a video soon where he's sharing that he sees so many thousands of people cross his surgery table, and they look back to what could have been done differently, and the whole thing would have been avoided, and the person would have either A, not been hurt as bad, not hurt at all, or wouldn't have the sign of the effects that they're going to deal with now. That's a big one. And then after the fact that they're open, like I call him Dr. B, Shri. He's a lead psychiatrist over there, and he specializes in post-traumatic brain injury victims. And that it's as critical, he said, it's as critical for them to deal with sharing their feelings and their emotions and talking about what they're going through so that he can help them, guide them to a positive mindset, for their rehabilitation. It's critical. But people don't necessarily, they think they go to see the doctor, get the stitches done, get the eye shined in the light shined in their eye, and be told to go take these pills and do these exercises with this rubber band. Like, I don't know if you had those rubber bands, right, to like make my arm work. Oh, okay. Anyway, so so even the traditional doctors are wanting to get this absolutely necessary information out to people. And that's what this event is about, and that's what's going to come all the way across Canada soon in ways that would amaze people that anybody, let alone somebody that was paralyzed, is going to take on. I want to give it away. They had to show up at the event or watch.
Yes.
And then the great thing is that there will be a copy of my book for everybody coming to the event, and we're going to be a donation of $20, and that's going to go into a fund to help support St. Michael's in their creation of their head injury research development department. Is that the right words?
It's Injury Research Prevention Office.
Injury Research Prevention Office.
Yeah, and just one last thing. So June 14th, from noon to 4 p.m. at St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto. Go to ACTnow.to. So that's www.actnow.to to learn more, watch the video, and register. We need to fill this room. There's 144 seats, so there is limited. We reserve some for other organizations to show up. But if that room is filled, it's going to empower us with the energy we need to fuel us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, to take this across Canada. We can't do it on our own.
To have this message be such a powerful impact upon everybody that's there, this will be, as I even just posted on Facebook just a short while ago, I was like, this will be an event that people will not only talk about, remember, and will empower all of us to step into a higher place of being, and a higher energies. This is taking something. This is English. Huge.
Thank you so much for having us here, Laurie.
Yes. Well, I appreciate it. I totally support you guys. There'll be more.
Absolutely.
All right, you've been listening to Needs of the Heart with Daniel Bax and Justin McMakin. One of these days I'm going to say it right properly.
Sure. Like I said,
right.
Justin's McMaking it happen.
And I'm here to back you up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Have a question for Laurie and want to be on the next News from the Heart show? Drop us a line via instant feedback at bmajor.org. News from the Heart is brought to you by Intuitive Soul and is produced by Major Radio for Clear Channel's iHeartRadio and bmajor.org.